The world holds secrets in its quietest corners, and in a small suburban town in America, one of the greatest secrets lived within an 8-year-old boy named Eli. He was a child like any other, with a bright smile and eyes full of wonder. But he carried a burden far beyond his years. From the day he was born, a strange and powerful connection tied him to the skies. Whenever his infant cries echoed through his home, the heavens would answer with a deep, resonating rumble of thunder. His parents dismissed it as a series of strange coincidences, a quirky anomaly of nature. The neighbors would joke about the boy who seemed to cry up a storm, but Eli, even at his young age, felt it deep within his bones. He knew it wasn't a coincidence. He knew the sky was listening. This secret hummed within him, a silent symphony of power waiting for its crescendo. The moment of revelation arrived on a seemingly ordinary school afternoon, under a sky of pale, unassuming blue. The playground was alive with the laughter and shouts of children playing ball. Eli was there among them, his heart light and carefree. But as the game grew more intense, a sudden shift occurred. Without warning, dark, bruised clouds began to gather overhead, swallowing the daylight in an instant. A profound silence fell over the playground, broken only by the sudden, deafening roar of thunder. Then, it happened. A bolt of pure, white lightning tore through the sky, a jagged spear of energy hurtling toward the earth. But it never struck. It froze, suspended in midair, just inches from Ellie's face. Crackling with an impossible stillness, time seemed to hold its breath. Instinct, raw and primal, took over the boy. He slowly raised his small hand, his fingers outstretched. The lightning bolt, as if recognizing its master, uncoiled from its frozen state and wrapped itself gently around his tiny fingers, moving like a tamed, silver serpent. The other children, the teachers, everyone stood motionless, their faces a mixture of terror and utter disbelief. From that day forward, the world changed for Eli. He was no longer just a boy. He was a conduit for the storm. He discovered, through tentative practice and focused will, that he could command the very elements that once seemed so distant. With a whisper, he could summon gentle rains to quench the thirsty summer gardens. With a gesture, he could paint the twilight sky with streaks of harmless, beautiful lightning. A private celestial fireworks display, he learned to weave the winds and shield his friends from sudden downpours during their outdoor adventures. His power was a source of endless wonder, a magical gift that set him apart. Yet, this incredible ability was a double-edged sword. It was tied inextricably to his emotions. Joy could bring a clear, sunny day, but anger was different. Whenever frustration or rage welled up in his young heart, the sky would darken ominously, and the deep, angry growl of thunder would echo across the heavens, a stark and terrifying reminder of the destructive force he held within. This power, as much as it was a gift, also frightened him. The ultimate test of his power and his heart came without warning. A storm of unprecedented fury, a monstrous entity of wind and rain, descended upon the town. It was more than a storm. It was a behemoth, tearing roofs from houses, uprooting ancient trees, and threatening to wash away everything the townspeople held dear. Panic and chaos reigned. In the midst of the maelstrom, while others ran for shelter, Eli walked calmly to the center of the town square. He stood alone against the raging tempest, a small, defiant figure. He raised his hands high above his head, his small frame braced against the howling wind. His eyes, once warm and brown, now glowed with the intensity of captured lightning. With a cry that mingled with the roar of the storm, he summoned the thunder. He called upon every ounce of his power, pulling the scattered bolts of lightning from the sky and gathering them around him. He wove them together, forging a magnificent, radiant shield of pure energy that expanded outward. a dome of silver light that pushed back against the storm's relentless assault. The wind howled in protest, but the shield held firm. For what felt like an eternity, the boy battled the storm. Then, as suddenly as it began, the winds calmed, the torrential rain subsided, and the monstrous clouds began to part. The townspeople emerged from their shelters and looked up. The sky above was clear, and in the center of the square, the small boy lay unconscious on the wet ground, enveloped in the soft, fading halo of his silver light. From that moment on, the people of the town no longer saw just a boy. They saw a hero, a guardian. They called him the Child of Thunder. His name was spoken with a mixture of awe and reverence, for he was the one who carried the raw, untamed power of heaven and earth within his small body. His story became a legend, a timeless tale passed down through generations, not just as a story of a boy who could command nature, but as a powerful reminder to all of humankind of the boundless courage that can be found in the purest of hearts and the enduring, world-changing power of love.